right, folks, welcome into another special episode of I've Got a Theory. I'm your host, Henish. I've got on one of my best friends for 20 plus years, Barry Zilan. We went to college together. Barry, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Henish. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can't start without thanking Manscaped for my awesome kit. And
Wow,
I was sharing this with Barry, and I haven't had a chance to test these products out. But fortunately, he is currently a customer. So, Barry, tell us about your experience.
Yeah, Henish, I got the Lawnmower 2.0 about a year ago, and at first I was just going to use it to trim the beard on my face. I lost my charger because, for the other brand that I had, they're all different. So, I saw the ad. I decided to pick it up and try it out, and that's the only thing I've used since. In fact, I found the charger for my old one, and I don't even use it anymore. So I use this for all, face, chest hair, everything.
And I thought, when Manscaped said they want to pick me up, I was like, cool. I thought that was just in general men grooming, but then, they've kind of targeted this to a more specific location on men only. But as you just indicated, you could use it everywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever hair grows. Yeah. Wherever hair grows, you can use this thing to bust your hair.
Yeah. I hate body hair in general. So I'm always, I will never grow out of this phase.
That's what we said. I remember when I was younger, I said, I'll never be a guy with a beard. Look at me now.
Right. You traded one for the other.
Yes, this is how the gravity works. It just went from there to down below. And it's cool because they gave me these other things like this crop preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant with pH control and crop reviver ball toner.
Very nice. I'll tell you what, I'd be interested in the in my industry. We work in the summertime. It gets really hot. We have big garage doors at my restaurant. And there's absolutely nothing worse than being in the humidity all day on a 12-hour day. And we've actually joked about just buying deodorant and using it specifically for that. So that's pretty awesome that they make that specifically. Yeah,
they've got some. And it's gentle on your skin. This is nice. And I was telling you on a hot day, the male scrotum is, I think, the only temperature regulating organ on any human. There's no female equivalent to this, and that's the reason why sometimes it scrunches up real tight when it's a chilly day, and sometimes it sags down to your knees on it's a hot day because it's trying to cool off with more surface area.
Yeah. What about when you're scared or embarrassed? What makes it scrunch up then?
Might be self-preservation to keep your jewels tucked right into you, so you're not swinging in the wind.
Fair enough.
I mean that's just the theory, but that's what I thrive on.
Okay, good.
So, there's something else. So now I got the whole kit to trim them, preserve them, and then tone them. Maybe reduce the wrinkles that I don't know how that would work. I could have sworn even my baby's jewels are pretty wrinkly, so I don't know what the toner would do. I don't think no one's worried about aging testicles. If you've gotten that far with another person, I think you're already at green light.
Yeah.
No one's going to stop because the balls are too wrinkly.
Nope, didn't stop. Hey, remember in Big Daddy, then when the Adam Sandler movie, when the Hooters girl is cheating on him with the chef, and he's like, yeah, with his old wrinkly balls.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Well, so cool. So I've got a theory promo code, which is I've got a theory. So if anyone wants to shop on these things and get some of these up, just like you have, and now I've got one of these things, and tone your balls and trim them up and stuff, and all your other body hair. So thanks to Manscaped for that. Well, cool. Let's get to your theory. What's your theory, Barry?
Henish, I've got 4 animals in my house. I have 3 cats and a dog, and I spend a lot of time with them, living by myself. So I always wonder, I talk to my animals, and sometimes they meow back, but, the dog doesn't really, she's quiet. She doesn't bark. So I always ask myself, and I think a lot of other people would, is like, what would your dog say if it only had 24 hours to talk? It just gained the intelligence. Are they going to spend their entire day filling you in on 14 years worth of events, or are they going to run out in the world and go carpe diem YOLO? But I gotta say, I think my dog would spend all of her time talking to me, only because of how excited she is when I get home. but it's still fun to entertain the other side of the theory is whether or not they're going to be private and stick with you or get all public and go girls gone wild.
Yeah, well, if they could talk, and it doesn't seem unreasonable that in some future state we would be able to put in some kind of brain transcriber into animals and communicate with them.
That's, yeah. There's actually, I'm sure that somebody's been studying that and come to like the basic understanding. I mean, we've been communicating with, apes and chimpanzees for how long now? I think it's just a matter of time and before we can actually get advanced enough to read electrical impulses in the brain and decipher it into, like code breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's possible. And as I've discussed, and I can't remember the exact percentage, but like actual words are only a certain percentage of your communication, right? Maybe it's like 17% or something, right? The actual words I'm saying. And the rest of it is tone, appearance, body language, et cetera, et cetera. And I would argue that better dog trainers or dog whisperers or anyone that spends a lot of time with their dog can read their body language as communication, right? The way that the ears are shaped, the way their body is positioned, how their tail is wagging, how much energy they have when they're stepping around. You can tell a lot about a dog or an animal's mood just based on its body language. And that's communication to an extent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you see your dog with their tail or I pay a lot of attention, especially when I walk my dog outside. If there's other animals in the area, you have to pay, she's older, so she's going deaf. So I have to look at other signs that she doesn't respond to my voice as well anymore. So I have to look at other signs to make sure that, she's comfortable. And if I see, a little bit of a threat, her hair stands up on her back or tail goes straight out. I mean, those are just things you learn over time. Like we cross the street, go to the other side. But, if she could talk, she'd be probably screaming her head off at that other dog.
Yeah, right. And interestingly, that's the theory behind why dogs bark, right? And they bark partially because they're trying to emulate human sound and sounding like us. That's why wolves don't bark.
Interesting.
Did you know that?
Well, no, I guess, I mean, I can't say that I've ever heard a wolf bark, but I've never heard that stated that way. I mean, they howl obviously, but right. That's a different type of communication.
Yeah, and dogs howl too, right? They can howl. Dogs can make wolf type sounds, but wolves don't make dog sounds. And the theory is that dogs bark because they're trying to communicate with us.
Interesting. I like that theory a lot. As a matter of fact, now my mind is just absolutely racing. I've always wanted to, have a wolf as a next type of pet, but need a little bit more space for that. But no, that makes a lot of sense. And, kind of goes back to my theory that my dog would spend all her time talking to me. If she's already barking, trying to emulate me, she bases her food patterns and her eating patterns around when I'm home. Like that just, kind of supports my theory is that, as humble, animals and loyal animals, they would spend their time, catching up, chit-chatting.
Yeah, I mean, most dogs in America and probably in most parts of the country where they're not just street animals live a pretty charmed life, right? Whether you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Your dog is still living like a king.
Yeah, for sure. Just not having to ever hunt for food. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, all you get to do is, hang out. I mean, obviously there's service dogs that actually do labor, whether it's search and rescue or therapy dogs or something like that. But they're kind of trained and bred to really like that stuff, right? They're trained like sheepdogs. They're working, but they love it, right? They love going full tilt, right? And same with any other purpose-built breed. They kind of love what they're bred to do, right? I mean, they literally embody love your job because whatever it is, they're down. And it's interesting how much animals will emulate their human owner, right? If you're an active, fit, running around, you take your dog with you person, like your dog's going to be that same way. But if you just like lounge around, your dog's happy to just lounge around with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, especially when they get older, it's, my dog she's spot on. All the times in my life where I could have, shed a couple pounds, I could have said the exact same thing about my animal. But, when I'm in, pretty good shape, I look at her, and the vet even made a comment last time we were there. He's like, your dog's old, but he's like, she's in phenomenal shape. And then, it just happened to be after I lost some weight too, but they went hand in hand.
So Barry, so to expound upon your theory that, dog talks for 24 hours, what are you thinking some of the things it's going to tell you? It's going to complain about the food, wants a better squishy toy.
Yeah.
Probably. Next door.
Yeah, probably talking predominantly about food and how there's never enough. Like she scarfs it down and, as always makes those puppy dog eyes that she's still hungry, when I know very well that, the amount of calories consumed in 5 minutes right there would enough to satisfy her for 24 hours. But, you got to spoil them a little bit.
Yeah.
But that we would have a big conversation about food, absolutely. Or she'd probably tattletale on what the cats do all day, because there could be little hellions. So, yeah, they entertain each other. It's pretty fun to watch sometimes.
Well, probably much to the chagrin of the integrity of some of the stuff around your house, right? There's probably some broken things that get knocked off.
Yeah, absolutely. The broken things was much more when they were kittens. Now it's things that just go missing. They'll get on the countertop and, bat a charger around and it'll file behind the desk, or, the tail from the charger's hanging down. They jump up and pull it. But yeah, there's things go missing all the time, and I end up finding it in the strangest places. I find coins in my shoes all the time.
Interesting, because the cats are doing that.
Yeah, that or some sort of tooth fairy that I don't know about.
Yeah, and the dogs just kind of nap, right? 18 hours a day or something like that? Like maybe that's what they're doing. They do a lot of sleeping. I know that. Yeah,
fair enough to be. Yeah, I wonder. My dog definitely gets her fair share of naps and full night sleeps in.
Yeah, and they're just okay with that. And they just like lounge out, and I guess you can drive them hard all day, but then they pass out real quick.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice because they're kind of pooped out for the next couple of days, at least at this age.
Yeah, so. No doubt. Well, awesome. Well, cool theory, Barry. I mean, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us about dogs, because I'm sure everyone thinks that same thing. What's my dog saying? But I think a lot of people think they know what their dog is saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could probably come up with an exact script, just because I know her so well.
Yeah.
And I know the things that I say to her, and that's somebody that's been with you through everything. So you might even be like, "Holy crap! Do you remember that time I jumped out the car and you had to rescue me?" Like, who knows? Maybe we're going to reminisce and go down memory lane. But yeah, that would be fun too.
Yeah, I feel like a dog is kind of the best counselor, therapist that you could have, right? Because it's basically just sitting there looking at you saying, "Tell me more. How did that make you feel?"
Yeah, absolutely. And never ever has a smart word back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Would you like to pet my head?
Right.
That's pretty much the extent of it. And you're like, yeah, good dog. Here's a treat. That was it. Yeah. Awesome.
Very cool.
All right, cool, Barry. Well, yeah, I mean, we can keep this short. That was pretty much it. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story about Manscaped and also about dogs talking. Yeah,
my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for joining me on another great episode of I've Got a Theory. Please comment, subscribe, and you can follow me on pstv.xyz on Instagram, and catch you on the next show. Thanks, guys.